The generic type for jobs has been added in Automation Engine version 11.2. This job type can run on Windows or Unix. The agent the job will run on is only set at runtime, and so is the platform the job will run on. The JOBS generic is certainly not the most important or most interesting new innovation in version 11.2, but it's well worth it to spend some time and get to know it. Stay tuned to find out how you can use it and what it is good for. As I said, you can run this job type on Windows and Unix. This only makes sense for reusable tasks. For example, you could build a job that renames a file. On Windows, it would use the Windows batch command ren for rename. On Unix, it would use the move command. You could then build one job that does all the file renamings that you ever need. You just reuse the same job. Which file to rename, on which agent, which login object. These are parameters that you need to pass to the job at runtime. I'd recommend using prompt sets for that, but you could also use variable inheritance. You can find the generic object type under Jobs in the dialog for creating new objects. Here is what a newly created Jobs generic looks like. It has three important characteristics. The first one, it is lacking the platform-specific tab. Here is, for a comparison, a Unix job. It has the platform-specific Unix tab. The second important characteristic, the host field in the attributes tab is grayed out. So how do you select an agent where this job should run on? I'll tell you in a minute. The third important characteristic, the process step comes with a few script lines out of the box. This is a case statement that executes different code blocks depending on the platform. Okay, here's an example. Let's build the renaming job I mentioned earlier. First, we'll set in the script tab the Windows command ren for rename and the Unix command move. The values for the variable source and destination come from a prompt set that the job uses. For this example, the login object name also comes from the prompt set. Now that was easy. Oh, the agent, right. The JOBS generic uses the value of the variable &agent or &override_agent. Either one of these has to be set. You can set it via variable inheritance or, as I recommend, by using a prompt set. For our example, we will extend the prompt set with the &agent variable. And the example is finished. For real-life use, I recommend to limit the possible values for the login and for the agent variable in the prompt set. For example, by using a SQL variable. What else? Well, there are a few things to consider when setting the agent for a JOBS generic. First thing, the override agent variable has a higher priority than the agent variable. So if both of these variables exist, the override agent variable will be used. The second thing, setting the agent happens before the script is processed. This means that you can't just use pset inside the job itself to set &agent, override agent. The variable has to exist before script processing, either via variable inheritance or with a prompt set. What you can do is, you can use in the pre-process step, you can use put@, to override the agent. Which brings us to the third point. If you use put@, to override the agent, you must not change the platform. So if your &agent variable has the name of a Unix agent, you can't use put@, to set a Windows agent later. This will lead to a fault other error message. And the fourth and last point is JOBS generic don't work with host groups or agent groups. You can't set the &agent or override agent variable to the name of a host group. It doesn't work. There is a workaround, but it's rather complicated. First, you have to set agent or override agent to the name of a real agent. And then in the pre-process tab of the job, you can use a pre-process agent group to find a name from the agent group and use put@, to set that. That's pretty much the most important things to know about the JOBS generic. So do you use that object type? What is your experience with it? Let me know by posting underneath the video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.